Hi, welcome to the first video in small, short series of videos about Irish place names, Irish administrative divisions. For the first one, I'm going to talk about probably the single most important place name division that exists in Ireland, the Townland. Um, it lies at the bottom of a hierarchy that goes county, parish, townland. So it's the smallest unit of rural address. That's the first thing you need to know. So, because it is that, it's the holy grail of an awful lot of research. Once you've found the vast majority of ancestors in Ireland, of people in Ireland in the 19th century, were living in rural areas. So, the townland was their address. Once you find that address, it opens up all sorts of records, property records, church records, all sorts of wonderful, wonderful things. Um, the one thing you need to be careful about is what a townland is not. The name can be very deceptive. They're not towns, they're not townships. They have nothing to do with villages or agglomerations of habitations that you might think would be a town. They are simply odd lines on a map. Okay, I'm going to take you to the website and talk you through looking at the maps of the townlands and try and give you some idea of how they came into being and why they're so weird and why they're so unique to Ireland. So let's go to the website now. Right, here we are. And the place to go, naturally enough, is places. Now, the basic source, the font of all knowledge and wisdom about townlands is the alphabetical index to the townlands and towns, parishes and baronies of Ireland. It's called the 1851 index because it's based on the 1851 census. It was actually published in 1861. That's more than you need to know. Um, let's have a look at what happens when you search for um, a townland. Let's see, something with liver in it. There we go. There's all L. What you found is anywhere starting with an L with any sequence of letters that then includes a V, any sequence of letters includes an or, any sequence of letters. Okay, let's go back and confine that to, say, Roscommon County. Okay, as I said, you have the county at the top of the hierarchy, then the parish, then the townland. Then you submit, and you have a nicely restricted set to choose from. One of the things I would say about using wildcards like this is that it is extremely useful. These place names, townland names, have been mangled and transformed over the years by the game of Chinese whispers that, your great grandparents played on your great grandparents, who played it on your grandparents, on your parents. So all sorts of distortions have happened. Most of the distortions happen in vowels. So if you take out all the vowels and stick in an asterisk, a wild card, it'll give you an interesting a limited range to choose from. It may not find you. You may have to play around with it a bit more, but it's a good starting point. Just remember, vowels are where the accents live. Vowels are where the distortions come from. Okay, so let's have a look at this townland here, Lisnagavra, in the civil parish of Tisrara. And there we are. There it is there, Lisnagavra. There's the civil parish of Tisrara. I'll be talking more about parishes in a later video. And you can see, looking at the townland boundaries here, these are not regular, they're not straight lines drawn on a map by a cartographer in an office somewhere. These townlands have evolved over generations after generations. They're areas where the people that live there, think of as a unit. Okay, that's a bit of a circular argument. If we think it's a unit, it's a unit. It's a unit because we think it is. But that's the way townlands are. And as I'm sure if you've spent any time in Ireland, circular reasoning is our national sport. Anyway, it sometimes they follow roads, sometimes the boundaries follow rivers. More often than not, they follow economics. They are areas that were owned by a particular group of family or farmed by particular groups of families. They so that they can be tiny and they can be huge. The huge ones tend to be way up in the mountains, to be empty, fairly empty of human habitation. The tiny ones tend to be fairly densely populated. But this is how you find them. Once you find them on a map like this, we very obligingly allow you to investigate the records. So these are records covering this Nagavra. These are Griffiths. This is the property survey from the mid 19th century, the only comprehensive census substitute for Ireland for the mid 19th century. The birth, marriage, and death records, the 1901, 1911. To show you what happens, let's have a look at 1901. And you're taken here to this Nagavra. And there's this Nagavra and all the people, and there's the original. So the whole point is that you can go from knowing a townland, clicking on it, going to the records to cover it, and you can jump. These are the basic, the most important, apart from church records, these are the most important sources, and they're available at the click of a mouse from the once you've identified a townland. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I hope I've given you some food for thought, and thank you for watching.